We are live
And
now.
let me retweet.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so I've started to watch a documentary. People have been talking about the documentary. I've just read a few articles. I want to go back and read the Vanity Fair article. I really haven't read enough as much as I'm talking about this.
No, you're
I've
like a
been
naif, Naif.
Yes, you're teaching me. You're holding my hand through all of this. But I did listen to the Ross
I
Douthat.
always love educating you.
Yes, I like learning. And the Ross Dow, I did listen to the Ross Douthat podcast. So yeah, I've been consuming some media on Epstein. What do you think about this story that the Senate was it the Judiciary Committee or where was it? It was Dick Durbin sent a letter saying that like 1,000 FBI agents were like combing through the Epstein files to see like any mention of Trump.
Yeah. So Richard Durbin, the senator from
Illinois.
a Democrat minority whip now, if I'm not mistaken, made the claim that he was told by sources. He didn't specify really. I guess presumably, perhaps people in the FBI. It's unclear
Mm.
that some kind of directive went out, department-wide or agency-wide directive at the FBI, where they were to be put on, like FBI agents were to be brought in for this ad hoc sort of emergency task. And some of them were on like 24-hour duty. I don't know how that could be true. I mean, can people really be proficient at analyzing dense, decades old crime files when they're that sleep deprived? I don't know. Maybe if they have the right chemical assistance. But yeah, so Durbin now claims that they were told to flag anything that related to Trump. Okay.
Mm.
So let's assume this is true for the sake of argument. I don't know if it's true, but let's assume it's true. It's not implausible. I mean, it seems to me that both Trump supporters and detractors are now willing to more or less acknowledge
Mm.
that he's using the DOJ as like his personal law firm. That's why he hired Bondi.
Yeah.
That's why he initially wanted Matt Gaetz.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. Yeah,
the
we
Trump,
get it. We
the,
get
the,
it. Yeah, we
the
get it.
Trump,
This is not.
the Trump supporters want that. I mean, they celebrate that.
Yeah.
Okay, so is it plausible that Bondi had people pulled and told to flag any reference of Trump? Sure, but I think that gets to the Wall Street Journal story that came out a few days ago.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
going to be materials that are embarrassing to Trump. It just doesn't bear on these larger theories that we
Okay.
have
Yeah.
in terms of pedophile.
Right. So yeah. So that's not that interesting. Yeah. Okay. So what's been catching your eye the last few days as you've been digging into the material?
Okay, so I've been digging more into the materials, and I've I've spoken to some interesting people who have various connections to different aspects of this.
Mm-hmm.
And what's amazing to me is that the more layers you unpeel, the more absurd it gets.
Mm.
Again, I issued a tongue-in-cheek apology last week sometime saying that I should have covered the Ghislaine Maxwell trial more in depth. And maybe I should adjust my pronunciation. It's like Ghislaine or Ghilan, or the S is silent. But I don't know. I'm going to use the dumbed down American pronunciation where
Okay. Let me check with ChatGPT while you talk.
And many things stand out, which is that, for instance, the New York Times today had a new article saying what could be in the Epstein files. Did you see this?
Yes, I
And
did.
they're attributing this to one Maria Farmer,
Mm.
who has this claim to fame of being the original Epstein accuser. So she even predates Virginia Giuffre, allegedly, in that she was an of-age adult.
Mm.
She came into contact with Epstein through an art gallery function where he purchased a piece of art from her.
Mm.
And then she was invited to go out to Ohio, New Albany, Ohio, where Epstein's benefactor Wexner had an estate, was like involved in developing some real estate project in Ohio. And this woman claims that she was sexually victimized over the course of that while of age,
Hmm.
in her early
But she has
early
sisters. She
20s.
claims
And then she
one
has
of
a
her sisters.
sister. Yeah.
Something happened to the sister, didn't it? Or
The
something.
sister. Okay. So then so I guess Maria Farmer could be said to have, quote, trafficked her sister by putting the sister in contact with Epstein. And then the sister ends up going to the ranch in New Mexico. And she claims that Epstein at one point got into bed and snuggled with her.
Yes, I watched the start of the documentary today. I watched the first 20 minutes or something, and yeah, I
Which one?
the one on Netflix, Filthy
Yeah,
Rich.
so the Netflix one was a total sham, but go ahead.
Okay, yeah, it starts with Maria Farmer, and and didn't she also claim the sister that she got a massage from Ghislaine, and then she was topless, and I think it was that Epstein could see her, and that's like could see her from the layout of the house.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so it's nothing. Epstein didn't really touch her, except he wanted to cuddle.
Okay, and as to that Netflix documentary, it's called Filthy Rich, right? I've now seen. I can't. I find it difficult to sit through hours and hours of that stuff, but like I've gone through portions of it.
Mm.
And bear in mind, that documentary was released in 2020,
Mm.
and the timing is critical here because that's post Epstein's death in custody.
Mm.
In August 2019. I think this documentary came out in June 2020, if I'm not mistaken. So that's when the Epstein Victims Compensation Fund first became open for business.
Mm.
And so there's obviously an incentive for the highest profile accusers to craft, in conjunction with their lawyers, who also received a lucrative cut of all of this. I would love to tally up how much they got, Boyce Schiller and Brad Edwards and others, to maximize and dramatize like their versions of the story, because that was like the sweet spot chronologically of when they could receive the most lucrative payouts.
Mm.
And the Netflix whole thing was, if you notice, none of the quote victims in any of those stories are asked a single adversarial question. I think in episode 2 or 3, it's like a 4-part series, right?
Mm.
They have this woman, Sarah Ransom, that they interview. This is one of the most mind-boggling ones of all, because this woman, and I'm not even trying to say this to be derogatory. There's nothing that you could reasonably call this woman if not a certifiable lunatic. Okay.
Mm.
She had emails of hers that Dershowitz eventually motioned to unseal that came out in early 2024, in which she's clearly in the throes of some kind of mental mania in which she's not even in our universe anymore.
Mm.
He admits over the course of 2016 that she made up a claim that she was in possession of sex tapes of Bill Clinton and Donald Trump, because the idea was she wanted to stop both pedophile Trump, to quote her, and also evil bitch Hillary, to quote her, from getting elected president. So she was saying that the CIA hacked her emails, that she was going to the Russians, the Russians for help. She claimed like she was like in touch with like some the prosecutor of Moscow or something. And that she was like on a crusade to personally and singularly affect the 2016 election and like
Mm.
save humanity from either of these candidates. And she admits that she made these claims up in emails.
Mm.
Like it's not even disputable. And in that Netflix documentary from
Mm.
2020, she's presented as, look at the caption under her when she's being,
Yeah.
she's just an Epstein survivor.
Yeah,
Who,
yeah,
of
I
course,
saw
is
that.
just assumed to have
Yeah.
the utmost credibility. It's
Yeah,
insane.
yeah. They like it's their job title or something. Was it victim
Yes.
or was it survivor? It was one of those. It was like I think it was victim.
I
What
think
I
it
saw.
says Survivor.
Okay.
I pulled the clip.
Yeah. Well, either way, it's some kind
Survivor's
of
even more dramatic, right?
yeah. It's like their job. Like yeah, this is a survivor, like an official
And
thing.
and so I mean, if you look at this clip, I tweeted it July 18th. If people want
And
to
the
look at it.
survivor thing is, I mean, funny. Just the use of the term. Like Epstein never killed anybody. He never.
Survivor to me is a reality show. That's it.
He made it to the last season of Survivor.
Yeah, the Epstein survivors should do a reality show where they're like voted off the island. They should go back to the island in the Virgin Islands and then get voted off.
Yeah,
Tribal council.
there's a. I mean, I like the documentaries because like you get like pictures of the rooms and stuff. I don't know, it makes it more vivid. What was I saw that episode like 2 or 3 was called The Island. Is that fun to watch? I mean, what do they do? How do they get access to this stuff? They must have.
Yeah, it says Sarah. I'm looking at it now. It says Sarah Ransom. Her job title is survivor.
Yeah. Okay.
And like mysteriously, I'm not 100% sure, but I think she's Australian or South African. I think she's South African. I'm not 100% sure, but she's from one of the Anglosphere countries. And mysteriously, she's living this like incredibly cushy life in Catalonia, Spain, which is not explained. Like that's where they go to interview her. How did she get this life of like relative comfort in Catalonia, Spain? Like, what is her job? Like, how does she do?
Well, did she get money?
Did she get
money from that Epstein estate or one of the banks?
Yeah, ding, ding, ding. Like they don't. Do they mention that in this documentary?
She's living it up. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't.
And now
told
she's suing. Yeah. And so people are going to think that like I'm cherry picking some of the craziest Epstein accusers to discredit everybody. Well, you got to bear in mind only a small percentage of them have ever been named. Some of them did so voluntarily because they converted it into basically a livelihood. So,
are there any who are implacable? Like the anyone who's I guess I mean
the rest are Jane Does.
The rest are Jane Does. But are there any of how many the ones that we named? There's like how many have been named? Like 4?
I think there's more than that. There's more than that. But
how many?
I don't have the exact number.
Yeah. But anyways, Epstein probably had relations.
But this person, Sarah Ransom, and then Juliette Bryant, who is the one who claims she was abducted by UFOs, and that she witnessed Epstein transform into a reptilian creature. You would think that these two people were just kind of marginal accusers who were maybe trying to glom onto something. No, they're like amazingly central to so many of the wrinkles of the story. They are named plaintiffs on the litigation that was filed in the Virgin Islands against Epstein's estate that then led to the creation of the Epstein compensation fund. So was Maria Farmer, the one who was featured in the New York Times yet again today, and have collected, many millions of dollars. And Maria Farmer and Sarah Ransom are currently yet again suing the FBI. So the past settlements that they've gotten weren't enough. However many multi-millions they received to live in Catalonia, Spain, and like some very swanky looking oceanfront property, that wasn't enough. They're now doing another class action lawsuit against the FBI, claiming negligence or whatever kind of gross misconduct in relation to their.
I didn't know you could do this. I didn't know you could just sue. Like I've heard the government
for $600 million.
The government doesn't investigate something to your liking. You've been a victim of a crime, and you can like I don't know, like someone robbed me. I'm going to sue my local police department. They didn't do enough to do it. Like this never happens, right? There must be all kinds of cases where if this was like the norm, you should be able. This I know there's something called qualified immunity. It's been a while since I've been in law school, but I know that there are barriers to suing the government for like not doing its job well. Like I'm going to sue Trump over his tariffs or something. Like that would be like that world can exist. So it's like actually there are very strong legal barriers to doing this, right? So there must be some reason why these women are always able to sue the government, and these cases don't just get